Time is running out to avoid a government shutdown, now a little more than 31 hours from now.
And we've gotten used to seeing previous shutdown threats get resolved in the last minute, but our next guest says this time the situation may be different. So joining us now is John Hatton with the National Active and Retired Federal Employees Association. John, thanks for being with us. And you were quoted today as saying, quote, "We're in uncharted territory." Explain what you mean by that.
Well, this is the first time we've seen an administration threaten to fire people in response to a government shutdown. Typically, they make a decision about who is accepted or essential, need to keep the lights running, the checks going out for Social Security and the like, and other people are furloughed. But that's a temporary furlough that's supposed to end as soon as the shutdown ends. What the administration has said is that they are going to send out potentially, or the directed agencies to consider permanently firing people in response to this shutdown. And so that's uncharted territory. We haven't seen that before. That's really using federal employees as pawns in this political brinkmanship in a way that we have not seen before.
So that is a huge concern. What are you telling those federal workers to do now?
They don't have a lot of control over the situation. They'll have to be responsive to what their agencies say. The one thing is they would be taking a reduction in force action. So that has a timeline that they need to receive a notice, and then it starts the clock ticking. In the latest guidance from OPM, they said they would typically do the normal 60-day period. So this shutdown would have to last for more than 60 days for this to go into effect. Now the administration could decide they want to continue moving forward with it. But if they reopen the government, there's other complications. If they decide to not carry out a program, that raises impoundment concerns. The administration taking over Congress's role, they could decide just to reverse them. Congress, in the legislation reopening the government, could decide to reverse it. So there's a lot of uncertainty. Just keep in touch with the news. Try to make the best decisions for yourself. It's a difficult situation for many federal employees.
Yeah, really a lot of unknown here. And John, your association, they put out a message for Congress in a letter to the Senate. I shared it on my Twitter page. Can you summarize what that message in that letter is?
First, we want them to engage in good faith bipartisan negotiations. That requires a give and take by both sides. And in times past, we might look at a short-term continuing resolution to keep the government open as one of those bipartisan agreements. But what we have right now is a funding agreement that doesn't have Democratic and Republican support from the past, because the current administration has unilaterally changed that agreement after the fact. So it's a new situation where even if you're going forward with what was the previous continuing resolution, that hasn't been honored in the same way, where typically a continuing resolution represents that bipartisan status quo. So we want both sides to give and take. We don't necessarily think you should hold up funding for things extraneous to the funding process, as is being requested in some degrees as well. So it really does require both sides to come together here.
Those negotiations with
John Hatton with the National Active and Retired Federal Employees Association, thank you so much for joining us.